Hi, this is Bob with Million Mile Garage, and this is part 2 of our legendary auto interiors folding seat cover install on our 1973 Plymouth Duster. Just showing you some pictures for posterity. The original seat back is still in the car. I just wanted to show you how none of these were probably ever perfect from day one. I'm just showing you the corner there where you can see the top piece of vinyl meets the side piece. You can see the orientation there, how it's up kind of high and maybe right on the corner, probably about where maybe it should be. And then just panning over here real quick, you can see over here that seam is down low, and then there's a wrinkle on top where they kind of stitched it weird at the factory, and that was been that way since the car was born. So that little wrinkle's been there for over 50 years. And hopefully when I put the new legendary one on, it'll be a little more perfect than that one was, but none of them are perfect, just kind of pointing that out. It's upholstery. Hey, just climbing in here real quick to kind of give you an inside view of that. You can see where that seam is there, and you can see where the factory kind of misstitched that portion of the seat cover right there. It's been that way its whole life. Never bothered me. Kind of never really even noticed it, I guess, until I really looked at it today. And just panning over here, you can see the stitching is oriented a little differently. It's up high up here, where you can see over here the stitching is down a little bit lower. So that's where the other side is about it, and that's where that's at. So it's off and it's flawed, but it's never bothered me. I got it on the work table. I'm getting ready to take it apart, just showing you a couple of details here. I can tell by the way this is flexing. This must be a piece of, I'm guessing a piece of plywood or something that the seat back is fastened to, and you can see how this vinyl has shrunk over the years, and I think it kind of warped the plywood a little bit. That may or may not fit great when I'm done with it. It didn't bother me before, not that noticeable in the car, but you know, there is a noticeable gap there. And just showing you the flaw here, factory flaw right there. You can see the stitching's kind of weird, it's wrinkled, and you can see where this stitch lines up here on the corner over here, and then coming over here, you can see this one's up a little higher. You can see the corner there, and then coming over here, you see that one's kind of hiding around the corner there. So definitely was far from perfect when it was new, but never bothered me. It was good enough. 50 years, I never noticed that until I started taking it apart. Just looking at the piping here, you can see where the seam there has separated a little bit. And then the replacement cover, I think it has the seam in the same place. Cool. So just showing you something too that you can tell when you go to look at an older car, how tired the vinyl is. When you can hear it pop, this stuff's pretty hard. You know, good vinyl won't do that. That's used up. Of course, that's where the sun baked it. It's rock hard right here too. It just hasn't fallen apart yet. But hey, sitting in the garage like it does now, hell, this thing could probably sit in the garage another 20 years. But since I paid the money for the cover, I'm going to go ahead and throw it on. And just showing you. Definitely different color, right, as things age. I think I actually re-dyed these seats. I think the color was called, I think it was bone white. Whatever the color was, I think it was Sherwin-Williams dye that I bought way back when and recolored these seats when the car was maybe, I don't know, 15 years old. And but anyway, yeah, just showing you can see again, you know, the different hue of vinyl there. You know, the Coachman versus Oxford. There's definitely a noticeable difference. Not much of one, but hey, it is a difference. All right, let's I'll stop jacking my jaws and we'll get this thing tore apart. Hey, just guessing. I think I just need to take these two top screws out. And I think hidden underneath the carpet is a channel. And I think the plywood just slides into this channel right here. So I think if I take these 3 screws out, I can probably just lift the cushion forward from the other side and slide it out. I'm guessing these screws probably are part of this mechanism here, the spring-loaded handle. So it's got it on both sides. I'm guessing that's probably what that's for, but I'll find out real soon here. Okay, I got the screws out, and it took a little prying, and it did come out. And yeah, it's not plywood. It's some kind of press board, which is in okay-ish shape. You can see it's warped here, and it's just held on with just ordinary staples. I do have a staple gun. I've done a little upholstery work on my boat before. I think I've got some Manel staples, which is fine. And this looks like this is going to be a very straightforward job. Looking like they missed the clips at the factory. Here, it looks like those squares were designed to be received into those clips right there. So from day one, I don't think those were actually inside. Maybe they were. Doesn't look like it. But I have to be real careful with this, working on it. This is kind of a can of worms. I kind of was thinking I wished I hadn't opened, but nothing fell apart. I did take the screws with the big washers out. I have no idea why those go in there other than maybe to secure the carpet. They definitely didn't go into this, so don't really understand that. They're just short little screws. I guess they're just there to secure the carpet. Kind of weird, but I got it out, so kind of interesting, huh? This is super light, not much to it. And then kind of interesting looking at this mechanism. Kind of wild, huh? So I'm guessing the spring is only on one end. Where's the spring on this thing? Is it in here? How is this thing spring loaded? Unless the bar itself is the spring. I guess that's what it is. How weird. So this is actually just flexing the bar because it's not straight. So when you turn it, you're actually just flexing the bar. See how that piece of metal flexes when you do that? I always wondered how that worked. Pretty simple, huh? I guess Chrysler always did like torsion bar stuff. Cool. Hey, just showing you before I rip the staples out. You can see where there were supposed to be cutouts, where these little holes here to receive those clips on the bottom. But they kind of got that off center, didn't they? And I wonder if whoever installed that 50 plus years ago, if that hosed them up on how they centered this on here. You know, just looking at where this is here, and then looking at their handiwork here. You see the seams all the way up here. So again, you know, you got a seam way up here, and then this one goes around the corner a little bit more. Kind of weird. Yeah, I guess when they're banging these things out, right? They don't have a lot of time to line everything up. Yeah, just kind of studying it before I take it apart. Interesting. All right, I'm just taking one last look before I pull this thing apart. Kind of looks like how you would upholster a bar stool, right? Coming around the curve here, they kind of bunch it up back here to avoid having wrinkles there. And they kind of did that all the way around. That's fine. I'm just going to try to duplicate what the factory did. Yep, that'll be fine. I'm just going to take my Swiss Army knife. I'm just going to go around and start popping these staples out. They should come out pretty easy. Yeah, piece of cake. Okay, I got the skin peeled off. The cushion looks really good. It also has a tattoo on it, and I think it lines up with this tattoo, I think right here. 3890J. That's kind of weird. And then I think that's a date. That might be May 19th, 73. And then it looks like we have March 3rd, or March of 73 there. So that would make some of these pieces about 3 months younger than the seat bottom was. That's a little weird. And just showing you, the various state of deterioration, even though this upper cushion looked to be in a lot better shape, or this cover. You can see it still has that same state of deterioration. You can see the backing material is falling apart. It actually, for some reason, this turned a different color and also left a nice tan tattoo on the center of the cushion, although the cushion is in excellent condition, so I'm real happy about that. So I think we won't have any problems there. I still have we have a little bit of warpage there on the corners where they pulled in a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going to worry about it. I was tempted to maybe try to soak these in some type of epoxy and put some weight on them, and maybe I could get those to pull back out, but I don't really think it's going to make that big of a difference. I'm not sure I want to mess around with it. I think I'm just going to let that be. Just rolling this over real quick too. Yeah, you can see how these panels are kind of flattened out. There's not much going on there. Yeah, definitely everything behind this vinyl is shot too. And then you got the new ones. They're all nice and cushy. They spring right back. They stand up nice and proud like they're supposed to. They're not all flattened out. Like these are kind of starting to lay down. So yeah, it's definitely, hey, it's 50 years old, right? But it really didn't look that bad. But I'll go ahead and put the other skin on and we'll see how it fits out. All right, quite a contrast, isn't it? Just gonna take a look at the back of the new one here. Looks like really good material. Feels nice and sturdy. Got the maker's tag here, same sewer's initials that was on the seat bottom cushion, same date, April 8th. And yeah, just going off of memory, I think I'd actually ordered this in 2020. And I think I took delivery of it around, I think it was around June or July of, I guess, that year, right? It would have been 21. So this has actually been in the box almost 3 years. So yeah, I'm wondering about these wrinkles. I wonder if I should actually heat those up first and put it on. I know the vinyl tends to shrink if you heat it up a lot. Maybe not the best idea. Probably better to pull it tight and then try to get the wrinkles out. That's probably the best way to do it. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm trying to find that box. I think I got this thing laying against it. Let me roll this over here. Yeah, it says modified original. It says May 20th, but I know they had some kind of deal there. I guess they asked me if I still wanted it before they sent it out. But I'm pretty sure the order was placed in 2020. But anyway, I never did open the packing list there. But yeah, that's been a long time. I think May 20th was the print date that they did for the packing slip, but I think that was just about a year after. So I must have got that, I guess, end of May of 21. So they've been in the box that long. Wow. Hey, just showing you all where I'm at. I got the seat cover to go on. I had to restitch on this end right here because it came open on me when I started to stretch the cover over. Very annoying, but that should be a good place, good enough. And where I tuck it under, you're not gonna be able to see it. Not a big deal. The main problem I'm having is when I roll this thing over, you can see, I think this is probably how this was sewn. It's got a big dent right here, and I'm having trouble getting that to pull out. When I go to pull this tight, this sags down. I'm not sure there's a whole lot I can do about that. That's kind of frustrating. I'll try pulling it out a little bit and massaging it. I don't know if that's just from folding it in the bag or just for whatever reason. The cushion seems fine. There's nothing wrong with the cushion, just the way this thing wants to pull over. All that seems like it's the same. This might be a little higher right here. That might be the problem. I think they got too much piping sticking up right there versus here. Not sure about that. But that's definitely causing a fit out problem because it wants to sag right in the center like that. So I'm gonna have to monkey around with this. Pain in the ass. Okay, I got her all stapled down. I think it turned out pretty decent. Of course, the bottom where you don't see, there's no wrinkles. The sides look pretty decent. This side's just a little wrinkly, but I think a little heat will take that out, no problem. This side came out pretty much perfect, pretty cool with that. Sorry for the lighting's not the best in here. Of course, the part where you're gonna see the most, of course, that's all nice and wrinkly. And it actually is pulled fairly taut, but this is from being wadded up in the box. Same problem I had with the bottom seat cushion. So I'm not sure, again, these little wavy things, I don't know if that's gonna come out on the piping or not. And you know, it's not pulled drum tight, but you know, it's pulled firm enough. And I kind of had to maneuver this a little bit. I think this is actually a stitching error here. You can see where there's a little wrinklage here and it's all pulled in there. I don't think there's a whole lot I can do about that. Again, it's upholstery. I'm not going to get real uptight about it. When it's in the car, it's going to look fine. Not a huge deal. Of course, you know, the one that was in it probably wasn't perfect either. Probably over many years of, you know, heating and shrinking. So I'm not going to get too uptight over that. It looks great. I am just going to lay a little heat on the top here and just see if I can get that to come out. And at least give it a head start on getting the wrinkles out and kind of getting it to shrink down a little bit and settle down. Not a huge deal. All right, looking pretty darn good. Just showing you here. That's not looking too wrinkly now, is it? Yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that looks decent. I'm happy with that. Yep. That passes for, I'd say, pretty good. All right, I'll get it in the frame. We'll get it back in the car. And while I got the seat out, I'm going to strip this ratty old carpet off and put some new carpet on. I kind of looked around for kits, and there was one that was outrageously priced that had the edges serged like this. I think it was like $215 for just the one panel. I found some, kind of looks like trunk mat carpet to me. Custom mats, that's the part number. I bought that at O'Reilly's. I think it's 72 inches long and 36 wide. So we'll have to unroll it that way and trim it. And I'm going to glue it down and do a nice job on it. And this stuff, you don't have to serge the edges because I don't think it frays after you cut it. It stays together. So I don't think they had stuff like this in 1973, but I think this would actually be a pretty nice thing just to put on the seat back here. It's not going to see a lot of high traffic anyway, and it'll look just fine. Hey, I got super lucky and got this piece of carpet off in one piece, so I was able to make a nice pattern, and I'll get the shears out, get this cut, and we should have a nice fresh piece of carpet to lay on the back of that seat back. That's going to look really good. Hey, I just kind of swept this off and cleaned it up a little bit. And look at those ribs. Wow, this is some heavy gauge metal. I don't know if you can see how thick that is. You know the old saying, they don't build them like they used to? This thing is definitely built like a tank. I would say this weighs about, oh, it's got to weigh close to 20 pounds. At least 15 or 16. You would never get away with that in today's vehicles, so you have to keep the weight out of them. But this sure is a sturdy piece. Yeah, you can stand on that and it won't bend. Okay, with the piece of carpet cut out, I went ahead and centered it on the seat back and then very carefully rolled it back. And then I've got the half of the carpet that I don't want to get glue on covered up with a towel and some paper. And of course you see I got stuff all over the floor to protect it, right? Make use of the old materials. And I'm just going to cover the sheet metal and cover that half of the carpet first, and then roll it over, and then I'll repeat on the other side. And if I'm lucky, I won't get glue where I don't want it. Okay, that turned out really nice. I'm happy with that. And if you do get a little bit of glue where you don't want it with this general trim adhesive, if you let it just get just a little tacky, so like that spot right there, I had some places, if you just take a piece of masking tape, you can get most of it to come off. It just comes right off. So I can find a little speck over here. Right there, a little glue snuck around while I was spraying it. Put that on there, and it'll take the glue off. There we go. Not too shabby, real happy with that. I was tempted to force it down into the ribs and get that rib look, but I don't think that's what factory did. So I'm just gonna press around the ribs and not mash them in too far, and just make sure that I'm really good around the edges. And I think this is actually a cleaner job than what the factory did, because it doesn't have that serging going all around the corners, which I always thought looked a little goofy. That's a real nice clean look. I think that's going to hold up just fine. I'm pretty sure this car's cargo carrying days are over, so I think we're okay with that. Real happy with that. That turned out really nice. Super cool. I just came in and glued that inner edge too. I'm going to bring this stuff in and wrap it around real nice and give it a nice finished look. It did come with factory clips, which I'm not even sure I need to reinstall them, but probably just for posterity I will, so it still has them. I think those will go over like that. And yeah, that's turning out really nice. Sure. Yeah, that looks decent. That looks real good. Real happy with that. Rolls around just as perfect as you please. That really looks good. Just lift it up here, take another look. Yeah, real happy with that. You can see just a little ribbage. That's kind of cool. I didn't mash them down all the way. Yeah, that turned out nice. I'm real happy with that. That looks good. Did pretty good on the glue line. Not too shabby. A little patina here. Thought I'd keep that. All right. I think we're ready to put the seat cushion back in. Okay, one last thing I was thinking about. These short little screws with the big aluminum washer on them. These are designed to hold the carpet in place. There's one that goes there and there. I can feel where it mashes in there and right there. It looks so clean without them. I really think this is lightweight material and it's not needed, but the purist in me wants to reinstall them. So I think these have some upholstery dye on them from when I dyed the old carpet years ago. I think I'm just gonna wash these up in some lacquer thinner and I'll punch some holes and reinstall them. I thought about just putting them in a bag, but you know what happens to spare parts in bags? They get lost. So if they're still back on the car, they're not gonna get lost. When it comes to punching holes, this is all that matters. You get it? All? I already get that hole right there. Cool. May as well take care of a little arthritis while we got it apart, right? Sure. Oh yeah, nice and smooth now. That looks good. Sure, get a little bit of that grease in there. Oh yeah. Hey, and if you're wondering why this windlace is all tanned and cracked, it's because about 30 years ago, I took it off and flipped it over because that was the side that used to face up to the sun. And this is the side that's been facing up to the sun for about the last 30 years, but it had a tinted window after that. So yeah, you can take the old windlace and just flip it over. That's one way to do it, and it's still original. Sure, why not? Hey, just showing you all in here. You have to get this tab lined up just right on all three of them before you connect down in there. You see I'm off center just a little bit. That looks pretty good. And you have to kind of come in at an angle. You want to drop it down just a little bit, and then you're going to have to shove it forward. I can't really show you one-handed, but there is a bit of a technique. And just showing from the beginning of the video to now, you can see where I pre-fitted. I actually did get them to slide in for the first time because I don't think they were clipped in from the factory from day one. Never seemed to bother it, but clipping it in is definitely the way to do it. All right, that looks goodish. You see I worked out most of my wrinkles. Of course, it sat for a day too. So not too shabby. I'm happy with that. You can see I got some bull's horns poking out here. I probably could have trimmed on that piping. I just kind of left it. I didn't want to screw with it. Not a big deal. And you can see the corner still pokes out just a little bit. I was mashing down on it, so I kind of wrinkled the vinyl a little bit. That'll pop back. That's fine. There's a little tiny gap there. I never even noticed it when it's in the car. This is what you see in the rearview mirror. Not a huge deal to me. And you can see down here, this is clamped in. This won't come out. You see I can grab on the corner here, and this thing is pulled in. It's not going to come out. So all three of the clips seated in, which is good. And you can see down here that the ends are pulled out just a little bit because that press board is, you know, warped over the years. Probably because the original vinyl had shrunk so much. That maybe with humidity and stuff too, right? Living in Florida most of its life. But I could have monkeyed with that a little bit more, but really, that doesn't really bother me. Not a huge deal. You can't get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm only going to spend so much time on this job. That's kind of where I'm at here. It's going to go back together and look a whole lot better than it did before, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, let's get this stuff in the car and see how it looks. Hey, just showing you what this seat looks like after it's been sitting for a few days. And I did come in and re-massage this. I got most of the wrinkles out. What I ended up doing was cutting the hog rings off and basically stretching this way and then this way again after it sat for several days. I tried a hair dryer, everything. I couldn't get a lot of the wrinkles, a lot of the big ones out, but you can see a lot of the creasing has come out. So that looks pretty close to factory. When that's in the car, you'll be hard pressed to tell that from a good job, right? Because I'm kind of a professional amateur here. But everything on the top looks nice. No wrinkles on the top side. And it's going to look really good where the seat meets the carpet as well. I'm real happy with that. So cool. Okay, nice. See the seams just around the corner over there, and it's the same way on the other side, so they're lined up pretty good. Probably a little better than factory. Maybe just a tad wrinklier than factory, but give it a while, it'll settle in. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that nice? Well, that looks good there, doesn't it? Doesn't look too wrinkly down low. And some of those wrinkles are going to settle out anyway, not a big deal. The floor hump there, that looks good going over there. Everything seems to fit really nice. Real happy with that. Let's just come in here and give this a yank. Ooh, that works nice and smooth now. Cool. Oh, look at that. That looks factory. That matches the centerpiece of carpet underneath the speakers I did about, 25 years ago maybe. And that looks so good up against that. You can't tell the trunk mat carpet from that low cut pile carpet. It looks so close. You really can't tell. I think I'm going to take that rear compartment door out and I'm going to reupholster it in the same material as well. Again, 13 bucks a roll. I'm not sure I could have done all 3 panels for 13, but definitely going to get the at least 2 of them done. Looks really nice. Real happy with that. I'm going to call that a success. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy watching me work on my 50-year-old car. It's been in the family for 50 years. Dad bought the car when it was less than a year old, many years ago. So I was probably 6 or 7. First time I rode in the back seat of this car. Kind of sad to see the original upholstery go, actually. But hey, worn out is worn out, and I just don't like ratty. I like to keep the cars looking as immaculate as I possibly can. Of course, doing it on a shoestring budget, right? I don't pay people to work on my own stuff. So I'm kind of what you would call a professional amateur. Take care, and we'll see you next time.